Warning, the following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for immature airsoft players. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences with common sense only.
Welcome to the most interactive airsoft show on the interwebs. It's the Valken Debrief Airsoft live show. Each and every episode is sponsored by the fine folks at Enola Gaye. Also, don't forget to sign up for the largest growing airsoft community in the world, known as the Falcon Alliance. You can link up with other Alliance members throughout your region on our Facebook groups by just searching the Valken Alliance. We also offer Alliance sponsorships for qualified airsoft teams. And the Valken Debrief also shares local and national airsoft events so you don't miss out what's going on in your region. We also give away some sweet products from time to time, so the more you interact, the greater the chance you could win. And we work hard to bring you new and exciting special guests during each episode. You can also find us at many airsoft events throughout the world. And if you miss any of our live casts, you can always catch the rewind on our YouTube channel or Soundcloud. So sit back and get ready for your Valken Debrief.
Hey guys, it's Chris from Enola Gaye, and it's time for Valken Debrief Live.
Intro looks good.
Yeah. They can hear you. Hey, welcome back everybody to the Valken Debrief Airsoft live show, episode number 83. And one of my wonderful guests has the volume up on something. So, but there we go. We can get training. So, thank you for joining us. Hit that share button, hit that like button. I've got a special co-host episode going on today. And Jay, is that your phone? Is that stuff coming out of your phone or your speaker or something? Because I can hear it.
Okay.
There we go. It wouldn't be a show without techno gremlins. Am I right, Cole?
Just a few. Just a few.
So, hosting the show tonight is myself, Kaiju, the Supreme Commander of the Valken Alliance, and to my right, your left over here, yep, is Jay Erwin, call sign, nickname Woodcock. Oh, point your camera a little bit down there, Jay. We only see like your angry eyebrows. There we go. Say hi, Jay.
Hey, what's up?
So, thanks for joining us tonight. We got a lot of folks in the chat. Jay, can you see everybody that's in the chat? Who's all in there?
Yes. Let's see. We've got Chris Seltz, Doug Smith. We got Soto, Brian Willing, Carl Lindell's watching.
Ooh, Big Gino from headquarters.
It's right here, Soto. Michael Bright out of Canada. What's up, Bacon? Javier's on here from Centurion. Cody Collier's on here. And Ethan Vaughn.
Oh, yes. Oh, and speaking of Ethan Vaughn. Oh, what's going on here? I got to make that go away. Ethan Vaughn, you are the overachiever of the hour as the first poster in the chat. Congratulations, Ethan, for being in here first tonight. Also, please welcome our special guest tonight, Player Spotlight, Cole Thornton. There's an N in the middle. I had to be educated. It's not Thornton, it's Thornton, like a thorn in your side.
My dad thinks he's real funny and named me after a John Wayne movie. So,
his call sign nickname is the Airsoft Bandit. So, and we're gonna get to that. So, tonight's show is sponsored by and brought to you by Enola Gaye. Check out all their smoke grenades and pyrotechnic and apparel over at enolagay.com. Folks over there, Chris and Darren and the crew in the U.S. and all the wonderful folks over in the UK supplying all your banger and pea grenade needs, and that just makes your game look a whole lot prettier with all those colors. Because I know the three of us, we use them a lot, a bunch of their stuff, right?
oh yeah, for sure.
And don't forget to sign up for the Valken Alliance at www.valkenalliance.com, one of the largest growing player networks in the nation, and we're actually growing in the world. We actually opened up our first regiment in Europe. It is Western Europe over there, and the regimental commander over there is Chris Young out of the UK. So we're super excited about that. It's free to join, don't worry. We're not going to spam you or anything. It's just getting people to hook up in your area for events, talk shop about airsoft. It's all good stuff. You can also support the show over on our Alliance page by buying a t-shirt. Go ahead. I wish I could put that up, but I can't. But you can head on over there, buy a t-shirt and all that. If you happen to miss tonight's live show, we will be uploading podcast MP3 version on Soundcloud and iTunes, or you can watch the video playback on YouTube's. So, Jay, how was your day today? Thank you for co-hosting, by the way.
No problem. Happy to be here. It was pretty cool. Actually, I met a female A-10 pilot today. You would have never guessed it. Just met her in passing at one of the hospitals, and very interesting. So there are female A-10 pilots out there in the world.
Nice. It was like, what's the cockpit like? Like sitting in a bathtub, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't ask her that much. But yeah, she just pinned on captain, and so just it's kind of cool. You never know what you're going to run to, and you can't judge a book by the cover.
Nice. Cole, how's your day been today?
Not terrible. Just work, gym, getting on here with you wonderful gentlemen. So, it's improving greatly.
Oh, Graham Hoffman asks, looking forward to the AVP 17 next month. Yes, we actually had a few of the black versions that came in, and they sold out super fast. We've got all three colorways coming in, black, silver, and gold, coming in the end of August in the US and North America and Canada. But yes, there is a shipment of blacks heading on over to Europe to our Rotterdam and UK locations. So yes, Graham, you should be able to get your hands on one very, very soon. So, hey, we need to tag some friends. Who should we tag in here? I'm going to tag Sean. Sean needs to get in here.
I think he's been tagged a couple of times.
Oh, has he? Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
How about Greg?
Get Corey in here. Where's little Corey at?
Oh, little Corey?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because we got to get Cho in here, too.
He's probably sleeping and working. FYI, I would refrain from referring to that product as shipping blacks anywhere in the future. Just a heads up.
Wow. Cole Thornton
saying.
is correcting me on political correctness.
It has nothing to do with that. I just don't want anybody fucking with your money.
We got David from Canada watching us. What up, Kaiju and Woodcock?
What up?
Sweet. So we're going to be interviewing, roasting Mr. Cole Thornton during this episode. So you need to make sure and get your questions and comments ready. But right now we're going to take a quick commercial break. Yes, Mod. Oh, before we take that break, Mod is always out there. Mod has said, PSA, have you tagged one Fred tonight? Give hearts for the Mod, because without the Mod doing everything on the back end for us, we would not be doing
name's Tiffany. Tiffany.
The Mod's, her name is Tiffany. We use that AI. We're looking at upgrading. We're seeing how the budget works and looking at upgrading in a couple weeks. So we'll see how that goes. Hey, Paul Whitman from Jackal Tactical is in here tonight. What's up? Brian Willing. So we're going to cut to a quick commercial break. We will be right back. Tag your friends. Share the show. Share it to your page. Share it to other pages. Let's get some more folks in here and have a good time. We'll be right back.
So this is Gunfire, and you are watching Valken Debrief.
The shortest path to your target is always a straight line. Be sure to check out Valken's full line of highly polished precision BBs made in Taiwan. The Valken Accelerate Pro Match BB is available now at your local Valken authorized dealer.
Someone's feeling feisty tonight.
Always.
And we are back. Falcon Debrief Airsoft Live Show, episode number 83, broadcasting live from the beautiful Colorado Ranch. And my wonderful, pretty, aged with perfection co-host tonight is Jay Erwin, also known as Woodcock.
Yeah, what up?
Which he is actually broadcasting from Texas. And we have Cole Thornton, also known as the Airsoft Bandit. And he is also in Texas, northern Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're actually like 45 minutes from each other right now.
Yes.
Well, why didn't you broadcast from the same spot?
Because Woody doesn't tell people things.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
When I'm in work mode, I'm in work mode. I can't combine work and play. So
That's a
I
good
have to
skill
be
to have.
careful. Yes.
Gotcha. So, warm up those questions, get them going. Javier Franco. Sex, booze, and land are always sure things. Replying to Doug Smith. Oh, yes. Chris Seltz. Jay is like fine aged wine. Or milk. He can't decide.
Yeah, I'm more like milk. Rotten, curried milk. I guess it should be curdled milk.
It's more like an old scotch. You get too much of it and it'll beat your ass.
So Cole, I'm gonna warm up the chat here since they haven't come up with any questions for you yet. But
Well, that's because no one knows who the hell I am.
no, so give us a quick little background about yourself. That's before Airsoft.
Okay. So, at the wee age of 5, I know. I got, as far as Airsoft goes, I got an Airsoft back in 2004, 2005, something like that. Back when those little spring-powered Academy 6 hours were the shit because they had an adjustable hop-up. Me and my buddy Robert Fritz, who just joined the chat, started playing with some other friends of ours in middle school and high school, dicking around. Then I went to the Navy in 2009. I was a cryptologist, which is missile defense, all that fun voodoo electronic warfare stuff, which amounts to absolutely nothing. Then I got back out, and Fritz, once again, shortly after I got out of the Navy, was telling me about how much Airsoft had changed and all this other stuff. So I was like, you know what, whatever. I'll buy a gun, and we'll go out and play a little bit. And we went to this local field here in North Texas called Fun on the Run, which is mainly a paintball park. But they've got some kind of neat little fields, and they were doing an op. We went out there, played a little bit, and when I realized that the guns could shoot farther than 20 feet, I was hooked. I was like, oh, shit, this is awesome. So, like everybody, I immediately wanted to get into sniping. And back then, those guns were just garbo, so there's nothing you could do about it. And I've just kind of been playing ever since. I got a guy named John Google, who runs X Customs and a couple of fields down here in Texas. He runs the games at Dallas Fort Worth Adventure Park right now, which
he actually just joined
Roanoke.
the chat. What's up, Zero?
Awesome, yeah, Zero. He saw me
Zero?
and Fritz. He saw me and Fritz playing at his field, and he kind of hit us up and was like, "Hey, you guys want to come out and do some real airsofting?" We're like, "Fuck, you talking about?"
Real airsofting.
And then I shit you not, we drove 12 hours or 14 hours that a couple of months later to go to Black Sheep Shelby in Mississippi at their mount site for a 34-hour straight op, and I've been absolutely hooked ever since.
And Tin Man Tim says, this is the introduction to going broke.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly. Going broke.
Don't be like me, kids. It'll ruin your damn life.
Jay, what are some other comments in the chat so far?
Yeah, that's it so far. I've been sitting here trying to get people up in the chat.
Chris Seltz.
We got Chris Seltz said, "Boo Navy, boo Navy."
So that sounds like somebody that's not smart enough to do anything else.
Oh my gosh. Woo, shots fired.
Ooh, it's getting hot in here.
So I'm really curious how many veterans, because you mentioned, you got out cryptology and stuff. how many veterans actually do in civilian world the career that, or the skills they were trained in the military?
Well, I mean, considering, like, I keep talking to my buddy Fritz, considering he was an artillery guy, it's not like he's going around blowing shit up. He works in a body shop now.
I'm hoping he's not blowing stuff up.
I'm not like jamming missiles and judo chopping nukes out of the air. I mean, so it's the big trick is, especially because I know a lot of airsoft kids want to get into the military and they want to find something to do. Try to find, if you can, and if you can rate for it, try to find something that's got some civilian application behind it. Find something in electronics, find something in, like mine was in electronic warfare. I'm actually in parking now. I'm a property manager. So that's not something that I had any kind of experience in. But what I did learn in the military that's probably the biggest asset you get is people skills. You learn how to lead, you learn how to follow, and you learn how to shut the fuck up, which are the three biggest things when it comes to surviving in the real world.
Chris Seltz is calling you a pogue. He says, eat shit, pogue.
Oh. Bitch, I fought in a cage for money at one point in my life. You can call me pogue all I want. I will still bend your foot back and shove it up your ass, little boy.
Wow.
David Fordyce has a good point. David, we've seen this meme floating around lately. Get your kids into airsoft; they won't have money for drugs, and that is so true.
That is very true. That is very true. They won't even have money to bum rides and stuff off of friends.
Yeah. So, and of course, Javier says, "Yeah, the infantry are murdering, robbing, making movies, and porn." Yeah.
Phelps has a good point. My job was not fun. It was boring as shit.
Well, I mean, I was
death by PowerPoint, baby.
I was infantry platoon leader, and if my guys weren't getting in trouble at least once a month off post, I'd be a little worried going into combat with them. I'm just being honest,
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree.
It wasn't a boring job, and I got in trouble.
So the Airsoft Bandit.
Yes, sir.
How'd you get that one?
So that call sign came from Reindeer Games. What was it, like 10 or something like that? Back when it was still, I think it was the last year or the second to last year before we before American Millicent moved it down to Fort Hood, back when it was still in the middle of BFE and off Jacksboro Highway out here in the wilderness. And it was the second game I think I played with you guys, Big Millicent Mop. I was there with Legion Airsoft, which is John Zero's team. And we're sitting on that stupid mountaintop guarding it because it is Olympus when it comes to that map. You just hurl lightning bolts and nobody's fucking with you. So we're sitting down there and we're a little bored. We're guarding Kaiju at the time. And I'm a big fan of the show called Boondocks on Cartoon Network, which is this really, really fucked up, really, really funny show. And we're sitting up there and they had an episode recently about this guy who's a real dude. He's a real guy. You can look him up on YouTube. His name's Fleece Johnson. And he's famous, little skinny black guy, and he's famous for raping people in prison.
Oh my
and they do this skit. Yeah, so it's going to get good. So they do this skit where they bring he walks in there and the kid's like, "Oh, I'll be out in a minute. I'm just going to take a shower." And he's like, "Take your time." And then Chris Hansen walks out. And he proceeds to, basically just rape Chris Hansen. And I kind of was like playing this out, and Woodcock is just losing his shit laughing the first time I did this. Because he Chris Hansen comes out and he's like, "You want to tell me what you're doing here?" "I came looking for booty." And he's like, "You came looking for sex with an underage boy?" "Oh, no, I didn't come looking for no little boys. I didn't bring no milk, no cookies, nothing. I came looking for man's butt." And from there, so I do this because, he goes in the whole skit and he's like, "See, I know who you are, Chris Hansen. I watch your TV show all the time. I calls you Chris Hansen. Now, it tells you two things. I likes you and I wants you. Now, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. The choice is yours." And then he proceeds to rape Chris Hansen. And Woodcock is just in tears at this point.
Oh, my gosh.
And for a little while there, they were calling me the Booty Warrior. And then they thought it was funny because I don't fight for the booty. I just kind of take it. And they were like, "Well, you're just a booty bandit." And then that proceeded into Airsoft Bandits somehow. Oh, and wow. It's just been Bandit ever since. I've had a couple fight for the title, but none of them enjoyed it.
I'd actually seen the documentary where the guy's talking about it. It actually was a real life thing. And,
it was real too.
Yeah, when I heard him do the voice, I was like, man, that's perfect. So
That dude's terrifying too, because when they came in there, he looks dead into the camera. He's like, "Y'all come back in here about 10 years ago, I probably would have raped one of y'all." And they're like, "What the fuck?" So
Javier says, "Why am I not surprised the Navy guy is talking about getting man booty?"
Baby, you get any booty you can take when you're out in the ocean. What, you guys got something against gay people now?
Now,
it's 2019.
I can honestly say one of the things that has impressed me with Cole is the fact that I've seen him literally run other players down. So, like, it seems like it never fails. There's Cole on the flank. There's, like, some kind of distance range thing going on. And then next thing you know, I look over and I see Cole breaking, looking like a cheetah running across open ground. And next thing you know, the guy's running away, and Cole runs him down and shoots him in the back. So I've seen that like at 4 or 5 different events.
You've got it on video at a couple events.
I've got that on video two or three times. So
I keep tagging Greg Alexander, to get another Navy guy in here to help.
Oh, another successful Navy guy. Look at that.
Yes, another successful Navy man.
Yes.
It's so funny. I was actually doing a little bumper with him at Palooza, and I accidentally called him a Navy SEAL. I was like, whoa, I'm not a Navy SEAL. I'm like, my bad, dude. Hey, Cody asks, where's Stone tonight?
Yeah, well, Stone's home. He is actually a certified lifeguard now. So he is working at the country club pool. He passed all his training and is actually a kind of a pro-B now, so he will be making his own money, and that's a good thing. So I think having a 15-and-a-half-year-old wanting to make money on his own, I think is an awesome thing, and he's a good kid. So he's at home, and I'm on the road doing my job.
Oh, yes, that would make sense. Jay is out of town. So, Cole, what is the worst airsoft injury you've ever had?
So I've been fairly fortunate. I can't think of anything particularly that was like really, really bad. Probably it's going to be these 2 bottom teeth got chipped playing behind a church when I was like 20 or something like that. I was home on leave and we decided to go out and get a fuck around game going on.
Teeth ain't no joke though.
So the scariest injury, which wasn't actually an injury, thank God. I mean, I've got a couple scars and whatnot from like point blank stuff, but the scariest thing that ever happened to me in airsoft was at Copperhead 2.5. And I think Airsoftology Jonathan actually has this on video. Is we're going in and we're breaching room. I'm first guy through the door, and I clear, take out. I think it was 2 guys. I shot just bam, bam, and I clear on the corner, and I eat one dead in the mouth. But it was weird. Ignore my dog in the background. It was weird because I felt the BB hit and I felt something explode in my mouth. Just boom. And I was like, And I know somebody's going to make a joke about shit exploding in my mouth in the background in the chat. Go right fucking for it, honey. But no, I felt something explode in my mouth, and I just like threw my dead rag on, walked across the room, sat down, and they knew what was going on. Like everyone stopped and they were like, oh shit. And I just kind of like, I'm just praying. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I spit in my mouth, and thank God I've got like giant werewolf teeth. The BB had shattered on my canine from like 2 feet away. And just the BB, thank God, it must have been something other than like HP or Elite Force, probably some cheap knockoff thing, just blasted my mouth. And it didn't actually do anything to me, thank God. But I went back immediately to the vendor row and bought a fucking mouth guard because I was not messing with that again. That scared the crap out of me.
So this is funny. So if the viewers agree with me, put hashtag Dogie in the chat right now. That
So-
I think more people were distracted, did not hear a word you said because they're like, oh, look at the pretty doggy in the background. What's up
Didn't
with
she
that little
cute?
doggy?
Yeah, that's her little spot. She likes the couch in my office. She's a sweetie.
So Andrew Holm asks, define special co-host. Yes, I am specially challenged, so we'll leave that one alone. Chris Selt says he was a lifeguard, and that's where he met his wife. I can't picture that guy as a lifeguard ever.
I was a lifeguard.
David Fordyce says, "Get Jet in here. He's a Navy guy."
I just tagged Jet too. I just tagged Jet.
Let's see. I think the other thing that Cole is good at is getting BB stuck, or not stuck in his forehead, but he gets shot in the forehead every single game.
I get unicorned. Hey, like if you get
Go to your
Instagram and just look at like the pictures we take together, there, every single
picture I post of me and Cole, he has got a unicorn horn sticking out of his forehead. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of foreheads, you have a pretty good answer to this next question. What is the douchiest move you have ever done on an airsoft field?
So, I've got two answers to this. I know I just held up three. I've got two answers to this. The first one is the most intentionally douchey thing I've ever done, and this was in good spirits. This is actually at under your command at the Division Airsoft game that we did, that Overwatch Tactics hosted with Breachpoint Productions at a field that we no longer have, unfortunately, which was a really cool medical hospital. But they did this Division Ubisoft themed event, and at one point in time, Woodcock's guys had this really like annoying respawn point that we couldn't, like, they just kept respawning, going in the building, respawning, going in the building. And then finally an admin was like, you can steal that flag, right? So in my head, I'm like, fuck these dudes. We bum rush this fucking respawn point, take the flag, I stick it behind my plate carrier and just run around the field with it for like 10 minutes. Like, because they can't respawn until they get it. And then when the admin's like, no, I mean, you have to take it and give it back to them at their spawn. And I was like, fuck, fine. So I went and took it back. So that was the intentionally
really douchey move.
That was the intentionally douchey thing I did. The unintentionally douchey move, which is the worst I have ever felt in my entire life in an airsoft game, and that was it was at American Mill Sims Iron Horse, the only one they've had so far, at the Guardian Center in Georgia.
Wait, I thought they had two. No,
just one. Oh, no, I want to say they just had one. I may be wrong. They may have had two, but we are. Nemesis, the team, Nemesis Milsim, is trapped in this like mobile home thing that they have set up on the thing, and we're coming up on it. It's me and Cass, if you know who Castle is on Instagram. We're rolling up on it, and these guys are about to get rid of the breach. I'm like, hold on, I've got something for this. And I pull out this brand new, at the time, the brand new EG flashbangs, the bangers they've got, which are incredible. But at the time, they were a little overpowered. So
that would be the Flash 3.0.
Yeah, the original ones, which are.
Yes.
So we go. I'm like, open the door. I'm gonna yeet this in there, and we're just gonna clear them out. So they open the door, and unfortunately, I can't remember this girl's name. They've told me like 4 times. Nemesis are great guys, good friends of mine. They.
Was it Cho or Ruth?
It was Sarah.
It was Sarah.
Oh.
Sarah. So they were going to come out. Or she was going to come out because she's like, I'm not going to just eat this BB brigade when they come in. Screw this. So they open the door at the exact time she's coming out. I pull the pin and put some heat on it. I fastball this fucker at her and hit her dead in the face. And she whips back. I hear, what the? And they shut the door and you just hear, boom. And smoke just comes out from under the door.
Oh my God.
She screams. She comes out madder than I've ever seen anyone in my entire life. And I felt horrible. Because I love these guys. They're good friends, but I felt terrible. She's out madder than shit, yelling and cussing, and I'm just like hiding in the corner like, this lady's going to beat my ass.
Yeah, Ruth and Tim from Nemesis, they're like, yep, it's Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they caught it on video, so...
Yeah, it is on video somewhere. I want to say it was Coco or somebody that has it, but I've seen the video and it's just as bad as it sounds.
Yeah. So now
I know another guy that's done something similar to that, and it's John Zero. He put a tagging round into the chest of some player at a black a Black Sheep event.
Well, he put a tag Reaper round. These kids weren't calling their hits, and I was here for this. These kids weren't calling their hits. And they're like peekabooing and talking shit. And John loads an Archangel round from Tag, which I don't think they even sell in the U.S. anymore. Clicks it, aims up, yeets that thing into the window, and this poor kid just stuck his head up at the wrong time.
Oh my
goes,
gosh.
Tink. He goes, boom, and we just hear screams. And like 20 dudes building with their hands up, like, fuck this, you playing like that? No.
And John's trying to defend himself by saying, no!
It was the Archangel Flashbang.
Archangel Flashbang, yeah.
It was entirely unintentional. He didn't mean to, but he definitely, like, ooched away from the scene.
Wow.
I would have, disappeared from the quickness.
So, okay, we've got a theme here. So Cole has made other people heated at an airsoft event. Cole, have you ever gotten heated at an event?
Oh, for sure. I used to. Back when I first started playing, because everybody, when they first start playing, they take it a little more seriously, which is dumb. It's a game. Enjoy yourselves. But yeah, I mean, when I first started going to the big events, and especially in CQB situations, it seems like it happens a lot, because there's a lot of adrenaline, and it's not so much like getting shot, like it hurts or anything like that, but there's a big spike where it's just like your adrenaline's up, it's up, and then it just goes off in the left field, and so you'll come around the corner and you guys start yelling at each other. But yeah, no, I've gotten heated. Thank God, I've never done anything stupid and like got in a fight with anybody or anything. I've threatened to. I've yelled at some people. I've gotten into it with some people. But in the last couple of years, for the most part, it's generally, at least in my mind, I feel like I'm justified if I ever like actually raise my voice at somebody. It's normally like just somebody's being a dick. But for the most part, nah, I have a good time. Yeah, like Greg just said, at Copperhead 2, I did lose it for a small amount of time. But I do feel like that one was justified. That one had a little bit of heat behind it. Greg probably remembers it better than I do, though.
So there's Phil, and dude, I'm gonna chop this name up so bad.
Uranus.
I don't even know. Uranisup was saying, "Why are you wearing wrestling headgear?" I guess your headphones look like wrestling headgear.
I'm wearing. So I've got a whole gaming setup here, and I'm wearing these are the new Astro A40s. Is what they are. I just have the mic pulled.
And that actually transitions us into another great question. So we've heard you're a big console gamer. What kind of games do you like to play? Because you actually play with Stone online.
Occasionally I do. When he wants to talk, I play with. It's funny actually. Kaiju's kid Gabe will hop into my parties quite often. I feel really bad because occasionally I have to kick him out just because my friends are not people he needs.
Oh yeah, no, I will get texts from Cole like, dude, you need to get your son out of this game chat right now. I'm like, all right, I'm on it.
I texted him the other day and I was like, look, your kid's an absolute sweetheart, love him to death. Let him play with me for a while because while I'm in there, they'll behave themselves. But I was like, I just left the chat. You need to tell him he needs to go to bed right now. So you can kind of see behind me, I've got my office. I've got like the EG flag and some other stuff hanging up. I've got a workbench over here from all my airsoft and real steel stuff. But I've got a monitor over here to my right, which has got normally has my computer on for the live stream. I've got the computer on this one, but I've got my computer set up over here. I've got my Xbox set up on this. I've got a TV hanging up above, lighting here, mic here, Astro 40 headset, Xbox One X. I don't do a lot of PC gaming just because I'm not any good at it. That's just not something I've dealt with a whole lot. But I'll play Smite is probably the biggest thing I'll play, which is a MOBA, which sounds weird. Bunch of buddies have kind of got me back into playing Rainbow Six Siege, which I'm decent at.
Smite is like Fortnite, right?
No, Smite is not like Fortnite at all. Smite is like League of Legends.
Gotcha.
It's a MOBA. And then I'll play Rainbow Six Siege, and those are really the only two things.
Multiplayer online battle arena, something like that?
Yes, sir. I'll play Overwatch every once in a while. The problem is Overwatch is one of the games that I'm actually pretty good at to where like I'll get in like Diamond Division and whatnot or Platinum. But I get too into it, and then it just kind of sucks all the fun out of it. So I've got a group of guys that I play with, and if you guys want to hit me up on Xbox Live, my gamer tag is Dandy Bandit, Dandy Bandit.
Oh, you changed it.
I did change it because it was the problem was my brother-in-law is on Xbox Live, and so he'll hop in, and then my mother-in-law is up there a lot, and she'd be like, "Who is that guy?" And he'd be like, So I did change my gamer tag.
What's so bad about Special Brownie?
Well, I made it when I was like 12 and didn't even know what weed was and thought I was cool. That's why.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, no. So I love console gaming. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, I just don't have the skill to be a PC gamer. Like I'm good on Xbox with a controller, but I'm Xbox.
I don't know what you guys are even talking about. This is all before my time. I'm used to Atari and Pong. So Corey Haynes just joined the chat. He says extra special co-host. Yes, I'm extra special. And Chris Selt says PC Master Race for the win.
PC is pretty legit. I will say David Fordyce, Doom is fucking incredible just because the soundtrack for that is what I live to daily. That is the hardest shit. I can't wait for the next game to come out, aside from the fact it's going to be incredible. The fact that soundtrack is banging. It is so vicious.
What's the scariest video game you've ever played?
I don't get scared by that. I fall asleep during scary movies.
Oh, he doesn't get scared. He's too tough.
Well, no. I've been terrified. So I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the most scared I've ever been in my entire life is I was because I grew up sailing, regatta racing, opties, lasers. Anyone who's been on sailboats will know what I'm talking about.
And if you've ever seen a picture of him on a sailboat, completely not what you would ever think of. Like when I found out he sailed, I was like, "What the hell?" So yeah.
So when I was, I want to say 9 years old, I was at a regatta in Houston Yacht Club, and a big microburst storm rolled in. We're talking 70-mile-an-hour winds, like big crazy shit. Snapped my mast in half, which is the big thing that holds the sail. And about 7 or 8 of us got swept out into the Houston shipping channel and out to open sea. And we were out there for a good couple of hours in a rainstorm. Like I'm talking raining so hard you can't see in front of your face. And our boats are filled. These boats are essentially like little bathtubs. They're filling with water. We're basically sinking out at sea. And thank God somebody found us because I got swamped by a big old cruise ship or not cruise ship tanker came by and like wave rolled over. But yeah, no, I almost drowned when I was like 8 years old, and that's the scariest I've ever been. Ever since then, that's just been kind of like something in the back of my head where I was like, you know what, this ain't that fucking bad. I think I'll be okay. And that's yeah. So. Yeah. Video games, so like stuff like that.
Drowning is probably one of the scariest feelings.
It's probably one of the worst ways to go next to like radiation poisoning. I would
that or fire. I think fire would suck too. Yeah.
I think
so. Phil Uranus up says Kaiju listens to Divinals. I touch myself. Phil, that's a great song. You need to leave it alone. I'm gonna let it lie. Chris Self says Tecmo's Super Bowl is still the best console game for all time.
Dude, you let Bo Jackson get that football in Tecmo Bowl, he goes end zone to end zone every single time.
Yeah.
But I'd have
Again, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Chris Seltz, I will have to argue with you, though. GoldenEye is probably the best all-time console game.
GoldenEye's pretty hot. I think, honestly, best console game as far as pure fun goes, Super Smash Brothers, man.
Jay, you remember GoldenEye?
No, I don't.
Yes, okay.
I didn't play no. Listen, I don't play video games.
Okay, remember when we were in Camp Dobel in Bosnia? It was the video game that was always being played in the medical clinic on the base by all the medics.
I never went to the medical tent because I'm not a pussy.
Jeez.
All right, so Leo, one of the twins, Lindell, has just joined. He's watching now. Let's see, what else is going on? Scariest 2 games ever, System Shock 2 and Fear from David Fordyce.
Fear's a good one. I will give him that. Fear's a solid one.
Yeah. So
once again,
Cole, do you do any like real firearm stuff? Or just mostly airsoft stuff?
So I do. I've got a couple real guns. I don't shoot as much as I want to. I worked part-time at a gun store before I got my real job, and I still kind of kept that job for a little while. Conquer's Bad Fur Day, by the way. Javier is fantastic. I kept that for a little while so I could shoot for free, and then I kind of quit showing up because my real job took precedence. But I've got a Glock 19X, which is my everyday carry. I got my wife a 6-hour P238. Sold guns for I got it for free, though, because they do a sales program, because I used to sell guns for 2 or 3 years. And it's actually a pretty solid little pistol. If you're a 1911 guy and want a smaller carry, that's a great gun. I wish she had gone with the 9mm, but she liked the 380 better, so that's what I got her. She shoots better with it. I just recently built a little Palmetto State busted ass, broke ass build, which it was like $500 for the whole gun. And put it together, put a 6-hour like cheap optic on it, and it works great. I mean, my big thing with real steel guns is I don't really worry about what's expensive or what's cool. It's if it works, it works, and that's how it's been. Like I said, my daily carry is actually right here. It's a Glock 19X, and I love this thing. It's fantastic. Shoots like butter. I've always been a CZ guy, so my switch to Glock was kind of weird for me, but I do like it a lot.
Master Life Glock. All day long.
So, I Palmetto State Armory. That was my lower for my 3-gun rifle. PSA, love it. All right. Oh, Chris Sells, and here starts the 1911 Salt.
Look, while we're on the subject, I think it's a good point. You know, I think people get wrapped up in brands and names of certain things. If you pull the trigger and the thing goes bang and it does it repeatedly, it's one of those things where, you know, it's kind of like Airsoft. I mean, it goes with Airsoft as well. You know, if the thing does everything you need it to and it's reliable, then rock that son of a bitch. But unless it's a high point, save your fucking self. Buy an actual.
Hey,
listen. I put up a video, man. We shot a high point, whatever that fucking crazy carbine thing.
The carbine's okay, but it's still jamming.
Listen, that thing actually shot, and I hate to say it, and it makes me want to throw up in my mouth. It actually shoots really, really well, and it didn't have one single misfire, and we put probably 500 to 800 rounds through it, just fucking around with it. So I mean, once again, it comes down to, I think if you maintain your shit and you take care of it, if it's decent to begin with, I mean, it doesn't have to be super expensive, but if it does everything you need it to, and every time you pull the bang switch, it goes bang, then I think you got a winner. And it comes down to, don't worry about what other people say, just rock what you can afford, and as long as you can use it right and make shit happen, then you're good to go.
Well, what's really funny is I think it's especially true in Airsoft is kids get too caught up in like what's cool or what's expensive. Like I've got some friends, I love them to death, but they are way too into like, oh, it's real cry precision, or it's this or it's that, and it's like, dude, I run like busted ass TMC gear I got off eBay for $30, and it has never failed me. Nothing I own that I run is real as far as plate carriers or gear goes, and I've never had a problem with it.
Well, the funny thing is, I was gonna say about TMC. You know, one of the things I seen recently I read was Dev Team 6 had posted a review on some of their Cry knockoff stuff as far as uniforms go. And Kevin Stone's got a TMC knockoff Spiritus. I hate to say it,
I do too.
He does. And the thing is actually pretty good quality. I think TMC has really stepped up their game.
And we have our Condor sponsored player, Corey Haynes, in the chat too.
Corey Haynes is in here.
Yep. He's sponsored by Condor. It's really good.
One thing I will say though, where it does count is, in my mind, is the gun. I've always been a big proponent, and John Zero, Fatco Customs, those dudes, get a gun, get a base gun, send it to a real reputable tech, and you'll be amazed the results you get. That's the one thing I've actually spent money on, like real money on in Airsoft, was guns.
So, Cody Collier actually asked, what kind of Airsoft gun does Cole currently use?
So I've got 6. I've got 3 snipers. I've got a VSR-10 Action Army build, which is incredible. I used it at Broken Home, this last one that we just went to, and it's nuts. You put some HPA 4.5s in that thing, and it just destroys people. I've got a JG VSR-10 I got from PNW Punk, which is soon to get a Wolverine bolt system in it, which will be really cool. I've got my first sniper when I got back into them is a Classic Army M23, I think. I've got a Redline Airsoft HPA system in a VFC Avalon, which was kind of a build me and Corey put together. And then I've got a Frankenstein build, which is actually one you sent me, your old King Arms, which is Zero from X Customs turned into an absolute demon. It's the best shooting AG I've ever seen. It's gross. And my main GAT is once again an X Customs. It is a from the ground up built, and one of the first builds he ever did, PTW, that just, I mean, it took like a good year to break the sucker in before it was shooting right, which is just kind of the nature of the beast with those guns. But it is, I've never seen anything outshoot it. It's just
I think that technically came from me too, because he bought it through me from my past
It was.
life.
It was a Red Wolf Challenge kit that he got for a friend of mine, and my buddy Dakota is one of these guys that like wants the best of everything in his gun, and he shelled out so much money for this, and then quit playing airsoft. And 3 years later, I traded him a real handgun for it, and he gave it to me.
So a lot of stuff going on in the chat right now. Javier states, if only TMC made stuff for fat guys. And he also stated, more Condor has been to real war than cry. Let that settle it. I definitely would agree with that, probably. Chris Seltz, every gun discussion has 3 parts. 1 Glock versus 1911. That doesn't work in real life. And the third one is High Point is garbage. I tested one once. One of the good questions Ethan just brought up was, hey, Cole, what are your tips on beginning with the sniping, and what tactics do you use? And matter of fact, I just brought this up in one of my posts not too long ago about snipers. And so I'm going to let Cole take it from there. I think it's a great topic, and one that I think we need to have this one again.
It is a great topic, and I think there's a lot. Why didn't the camera transition? There we go, camera. So, Cole, keep it as simple as possible. Yes, because we're going to come back on, I think, July 11th, the Thursday of Northern Front, American Milsim's Northern Front. And we're going to have a sniper episode, which we're going to have Cole, Corey, Saltsider, Corey, Haynes, Dylan. We're going to have a bunch of snipers on the show, so that's going to be very detailed, in depth. But I'm not going to step on Cole's thunder.
Let's keep it short by not letting Cole talk about it. Javier brings up a good point. Sniping, never start there. So what I would say is
everyone starts there.
Javier's correct. I mean, we get a lot of young kids that hit us up about sniping. And what I tell them is the amount of money it takes to build a good sniper rifle, probably not a great place to start into airsoft. I've seen a lot of young kids buy a sniper rifle. They go out, they think they're going to get all these long range hits, and unfortunately it never works out that way. And they end up, I've seen a lot of kids end up getting out of airsoft because they're not happy with what they had purchased.
I mean, they think they're going to get this Master Race sniper like out of the box, and it's like, sorry, that does not
I was going to say,
happen.
all right, so look, I do have something from the Ethan just right off the bat. So the biggest thing I can give you is, number one, talk to people who've been sniping for a while. Talk to people who've done their builds. I reached out to a bunch of guys, just waylaid them with information, figured out what I needed, what I wanted to do, find a good BB, find a good BB weight. The biggest thing I can recommend is movement. Learn how to move, learn how to gauge distance. Just go out there and play with the sniper and figure out what your effective distance is, figure out what real angles are, as far as like, look at it like a clock, figure out like a pie chart, what your angles are and where you can hit people with, where you can see them, they can't hit you, and learn the difference between concealment and real cover. And that's it. That's all there is to it for the most part.
And I want to apologize to Ethan. I'm not trying to talk down to you. He brought up I played for a while, and I know how much money it takes. I think he was bringing up a great point. We're not being condescending, Ethan. We're just trying to get out the knowledge that sniping is definitely not for amateurs, like Leo just mentioned.
You see that comment from Zero?
Definitely.
Zero's the guy to talk. But what you want to do, like my first comment is, tune in for the next one when we do the actual sniper podcast, and just listen to what everybody has to say. Take bits and pieces from people you know that have done this, kind of know what they're doing, and then mod it to yourself. Do what you can afford, do what you can justify, and then just build from there. And if you're happy with it, man, that's the way to go.
Leo brings up the best point. Know your actual effective range. I mean, I can't get kids to understand the concept of an ambush, let alone understand their actual effective range with an airsoft.
Yeah, we always call it the invisible BB, because where their BB actually drops off, they actually think it keeps going. But
I totally get that guy movement.
Yeah.
When's the next break?
So before we take the next break, we're going to be just shortly, and we're going to talk about events because we got to talk about a lot of events that are out there. But before we do, cross promotion is always a great thing. ASAP, because I want the people to hear about ASAP, about another outlet for airsoft podcast, livecast, whatever you want to call it. So tell us about ASAP and what it means.
So ASAP is myself, Derek Campbell from Mo Guns Tactical, Carl from BB Dynamics, Eric or P&W Punk, Pone Punk as he hates to be called, Pacific Northwest Punk is what he likes, and Corey Haynes from Guardian Apparel and Guardian Tees. He makes the t-shirt I'm currently wearing and about 90% of my wardrobe. But the idea was that Derek Campbell and Carl had this idea going to Copperhead this last year that there's like one or two decent airsoft podcasts, but there's not a good variety of them, and there's not a good kind of mix. So they kind of we had talked about it before, but they kind of got the wild herd. Like, you know what? Why don't we get some guys together that we enjoy hanging out with and just do a podcast? You know, hang out, talk about airsoft, things we like, things we don't like, and just bullshit. And that's kind of how it started. So ASAP stands for Another Serious Airsoft Podcast, which is not serious. We could not be any less serious. I'm drunk most of the time on it. But yeah, and we've done a pretty good job. We've had a couple guests on. We've had Josh Warren. We're going to have some guys from Enola Gaye soon. We've had Airsoft Alphonse. You know, and it's turned out to be a really good experience. We've been very surprised by the feedback. So yeah, it's been pretty cool so far.
Awesome. And where can they find past episodes?
So you can go on SoundCloud and look up either ASAP or Another Serious Airsoft Podcast. I would start with episode 2. Episode 1, we had some sound issues with Derek and the hamster that runs his internet because he's in the middle of BFE in Colorado.
It's not that bad. Come on.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But I would start there. We also have a Facebook Live page, which is ASAP Podcast, or Another Serious Airsoft Podcast. We have an Instagram as well, which is under ASAP Podcast.
Cool. All right.
So we got some new members to the chat. We've got Cookie from Overwatch Tactics, and we got Steve Tom that just joined us from
Nice.
Overwatch boys.
Steve Tom, Dark Horse 6 Milsim.
That's correct.
In the northeast region. Gotta love Steve. He's my Asian brother from another mother. So we're gonna cut it to a very quick break. Then we're gonna come back, and Jay is gonna queue up the events and help me out with the event segment. But Cole's not going anywhere,
Ooh.
so hang on real quick. We're gonna come right back after this short commercial break.
Hi, this is Virgil from Historic Blast Camp Paintball and Airsoft, and you're watching the Valken Debrief.
Be sure to check out the Valken Tactical Kilo Gloves. Each glove is equipped with stretch mesh fabric and Velcro wrist closures. They come with silicone grips in those high contact areas and are touch screen friendly. These gloves are ultra lightweight and have soft gel padded knuckles to protect your hands against BB strikes. So no matter what kind of playing conditions you encounter, the Valken Tactical Kilo Gloves are the right fit for you.
I think the plan is
you've
we want to have
never invited us.
Well, you're gonna be. The thing is, we're still just kind of figuring it
You
out.
invited people like Josh Warren before us.
Not me. That was not me or Corey as well. We actually, if you've listened to the podcast, you know I get drunk and just make fun of him the entire time.
Oh my goodness. So we are back, episode number 83 of the Airsoft live show, the Valken Debrief, and it's the event segment. Jay, are you ready to talk about events?
I am. I'm super pumped to talk about events.
Awesome. And Cole, feel free to chime in anything relevant if you wish. So Jay, go right ahead.
All right. So first up, Appalachian region. Appalachian, however you want to say it. I know we've always mentioned that Appalachia is a hard word to say for most folks. Red Storm East, Inferno, Lion Claws event in Elkin, North Carolina from June 21st to the 23rd. Next up, we got Battleborn Narcos, June 21st through the 23rd, same weekend, Midwest region. It's a Battleborn Airsoft event in Joplin, Missouri.
That's at that water park.
Followed by the same weekend is Bad Blood East 2019, June 22nd, Northeast region. It's a e-bike, looks like it's an e-bike event at the EMR Event Park in New Milford, Pennsylvania. Followed by same weekend, the Artesian Insurrection, June 22nd in the Appalachian region, Ballahawk Airsoft in Chesapeake, Virginia.
A lot of people are trying to on that weekend because they want to get their event before the heat wave of the summer.
Yes. So June 29th, first annual Amped Airsoft Expo, Northeast region, Amped Airsoft event in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Followed by June 29th, the same weekend, LZ Airsoft Field reopening, Rockies region, Steel Reapers event in Calhoun, Colorado. Northern Front 2, going to try to make that one. Not sure if we're going to be able to. July 13th through the 14th, Midwest region, American Milsim local event at Black Ops Airsoft in Bristol, Wisconsin. That's going to be a good game. Last year, they had a lot of heat casualties. Hopefully, it won't be the same this year.
Well, they did reset for Copperhead, and they had much fewer casualties, or not Copperhead, at Broken Home, so I'm hopeful.
Yes. Valken Day, July 27th, Appalachia region, Ballahawk Airsoft event in Chesapeake, Virginia. And that's our events for this week.
Man, he did so great. And if you want to know more about those events, our mod is posting the Facebook event links in the chat below. So you can click on those, click interested, or click going if you are going. And if you'd like to get your event on the show, please send me email at bmanore, M-A-N-O-R-E, at Valken.com with your Facebook event link. Please don't send me a poster. Please don't send me a GIF or a JPEG. Facebook event link. And also, if Valken is a sponsor of the event, make us a co-host so it shows up on our calendar. We can get our partners that are also sponsoring as a co-host, and then we share it everywhere. So a lot more exposure for you event hosts out there. So that wraps us up for our time tonight. Cole, thank you very much for coming and hanging out with us. It was definitely a fun time. And Jay, you always got my 6, and I always appreciate that, stepping up to be the special co-host for the night. For those that were curious, Darth Falcon will only be making appearances every once in a while. He's got a lot of R&D and testing under his belt right now. He is like super, super, super busy. So some folks have stepped up. We're going to see some new faces as a co-host. Next one is going to be in 2 weeks. On the 27th, we're going to be interviewing John McCaleb and Cade Yates. They are the American Milsim 2019 commanders. We have a...
War machine!
Oh my gosh, here it goes. So, we're going to be introducing another special co-host that's going to be broadcasting in. But we've had another friend that stepped up to co-host with me on a permanent, semi-permanent basis. I think you guys will remember him, but I won't spoil it. You have to watch in 2 weeks on the 27th. So thank you all for joining this week's episode, whether via podcast, Facebook Live, or YouTube. You can join the Valken Alliance at Valken.com. Be sure to subscribe and follow the Valken Debrief Airsoft Podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. And you can also subscribe and follow the Valken Debrief without comments on our YouTube channel. Just search Valken Video on YouTube. And last, but certainly not least, check out our sponsor, Enola Gaye, for all their smoke grenades and clothing at
We love Enola Gaye. Awesome.
Yes, EnolaGay.com. Well, thank you guys for tonight, and we will catch everybody later. How do I click this?
See ya.
But there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second. Surrender.
I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
We will not go quietly into the night.
It is your killer instinct which must be harnessed if you expect to survive in combat.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
Remember this day, man, or it will be yours for all time.
What keeps you awake at night?
Nothing. I keep other people awake at night.